Hey, welcome back, rockers, and I hope you guys don't think I'm getting soft on you. I've got plenty of punk rock and metal and rock and roll tales, but remember, this is my book in video forms. So instead of writing a book, I'm telling my tales, and each little tale on these videos basically represent a chapter of a book. We're going to go back and talk about the Monkees. That's right. Some of you may be like, oh, goodbye. I hope not, because the Monkees were a fun rock and roll band. Back in the 60s, these guys had their own TV show that aired from 1966 to 1968. I was born in the year 1966, so I had to catch the reruns, which did run from 1969 to 73. So by the time I was like 3 to 7, the Monkees were on, and I was watching TV a couple of years after that rerun started, so I grew up loving the Monkees. And when I was in school, I remember a lot of kids talking about Mickey Dolenz. Oh, I love his drumming and this and that. You know, the Monkees get a bad rap because they were basically the product of people wanting to put together and manufacture a band and make a lot of money off of them. Well, they exploded. And the first two records were basically studio musicians using the voices of the Monkees, respectively Michael Nesmith, Davy Jones, Peter Tork, and Mickey Dolenz. Well, by the third album in 1967, which was called Headquarters, the Monkees actually played their own instruments on that album, and they are actually talented dudes. And what I'm going to talk about today is the Monkees 20th anniversary tour. These guys did play instruments, they did sing, they entertained. It was actually really awesome. It was the date of June 20th, 1986 in Burlington, Iowa. The Monkees were on tour, and man, the opening acts that night were killer. Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. Any of you 60s people or 60s fans of 60s music are going to dig this lineup, man. The Grassroots, yeah, man, good stuff, right? And Herman's Hermits. I gotta come clean, man. I do not remember anything about seeing Herman's Hermits, and I would have sworn to you until today when I checked my, recordings, that Herman's Hermits, it did indeed, I guess, grace these eyes and ears, but I don't remember anything about it. I looked it up, and from what I could find on public record, they did play. I do remember the Grassroots and Gary Puckett because I remember recording the entire shows, but I lost those tapes later. And I also recorded the Monkees that night, you guys. And you can go to my other channel on YouTube, which is called The Church of Rock, all one word. Please subscribe there and look up the Monkees, June 20th, 1986, Burlington, Iowa. The complete show is there, audio only. You know, these guys are known as a humorous band. They were very funny, cheesy, slapstick, just good stuff, man. And a little kid could relate to them. And I loved the Monkees theme song. And my mom always had the original 45 when that came out, man. I remember playing that often. Hey, hey, we're the Monkees. But I love the, here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, hey, we're the Monkees. It's like the Monkees were the neo pre-hippies liberation movement. Because as a little kid, I wasn't thinking anything about hippies or 60s or revolution. But these guys were presenting themselves as black sheep called the Monkees. I'm like, yeah, man, I want to join that gang. And then, of course, there was the Banana Splits, the Groovy Ghoulies, HR Puffin stuff, all that stuff, man. I wanted in all those clubs, man. Not to mention being a part of the Munsters family. Come on, Herman and Lily, let me have a room at your mansion. The crowd was packed that night in Burlington, Iowa, and I was excited to see the Monkees. I had driven there from Peoria, Illinois to Burlington, Iowa with some friends. We were all Monkees fans. Shout out to Bob and whoever else I was with that night. I walked around the fairgrounds. It was completely packed. It was very hot, and I remember just being excited, and everywhere I walked, there was people. But when it came time for showtime, man, everyone was stoked. The Monkees actually had a full band on stage, to be fair and transparent. They had keyboards, guitars, bassists. Everyone did some vocal work. But the actual guys in the Monkees actually did front this band and play instruments at various times, which was cool. And but they wanted to sound as much as they could like those studio recordings, so you didn't think these guys sound like a bad imitation of the Monkees. They actually pulled it off too, man. Lots of energy. It was crazy cool. that night, making sure I check my notes so I don't forget to tell y'all anything. The crowd was very noisy. The Midwest crowds are awesome. Rock and roll is just amazing there. The crowds devour rock and roll, and they were very, very noisy and passionate. Everyone knew the words to most of the songs. And the Monkees came out, and of course, Mickey Dolenz did some real drum work along with some electronic drums, opening up with Last Train to Clarksville. What a classic, man. When I was in Peoria, Illinois, there was a place called Cartsville, which was a go-kart place. And I used to always sing, "Take the last train to Cartsville." Anyway, second song, A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You. Davy Jones taking the lead vocals. I gotta say, all the guys in the Monkees did lots of backing vocals and backed each other up well. They were tight, professional, well rehearsed, and super funny. They were entertaining, man. It was the Monkees. Michael Nesmith was not there that night. I gotta tell you, it was just Mickey, Peter, and Davy. Okay. Later on, Michael did join those guys for subsequent tours, I believe, and other events. But it was the three of those cats. Stepping Stone was third. All the guys were doing vocals. It was a huge sing-along. That was when everyone really started singing along to most of the songs, was during the third song, Stepping Stone. Right now I'm thinking about the Sex Pistols version of it, which I love. Cuddle Toy was next. All guys were up front. I think Davey was on lead vocals on that one. They had a choreographed kind of dance thing going on. The guys were really entertaining, man. You could tell that they definitely rehearsed. Energy. They have so much energy. I swear, Davy Jones, at times, his leg was moving faster than like Elvis Presley's ever did. It was crazy. It was like Elvis on steroids, but it was little Davy Jones. But man, what a talented guy with a great voice. She was next, then Auntie Griselda with Peter Tork, which he very rarely did vocals with the Monkees, but I think he sounds cool. And Peter Tork went on after the Monkees to do psychedelic and cool music. But Auntie Griselda with Peter Tork on lead vocals. Then into one of my favorite Monkees tunes, Daydream Believer. There was a huge crowd response. The ladies were really screaming on that one. Davy Jones was doing the lead vocals, but you had Mickey at the very end doing some lead vocals. It was good. These guys had the crowd going, man, back and forth on each side of the stage. They were definitely not just standing around, but the Monkees band did not mess around. Every time a song ended, it pretty much within 10 seconds where they were into another song, and it was like, wow. No room for small talk or any, completely stupid and lame stage banter. These guys were there to entertain, and they did. It was cool. The Monkees rocked. She'll Be There was next on the list, and this is the actual set list from that night. MGB, again, Peter Tork taking the lead. That was really cool. Of course, Davy Jones had a guitar at certain points. Mickey Dolenz played little guitar. He played some drums. He did some vocals. They were all doing stuff, man. Mickey going down. Mickey Dolenz on vocals. That was super, super cool. He almost did a little strip tease, unbuttoning his shirt and just playing around with the ladies. It was fun, and they were very receptive. There was a cool horn section, too, during that song. Shades of Grey, which was great. Everyone was he said, it's a love song, Davy Jones. It was beautiful, man. Shades of Grey, everyone was singing along to that classic. No Time at All was next. Randy Scouse Git, that was a great one, of course. Valerie, another famous Monkees tune with Davy Jones taking the lead. A huge chorus with the guys. I can't say enough of how much Peter Tork and Mickey sang. Mickey Dolenz has a great voice, and so does Davy Jones. Man, those guys can sing. Davy was like a performer, I think, Broadway and stuff like that. I didn't do my research, but I have read a lot about Davy Jones over the years, and he's done a lot of stuff, man, and played in a lot of cool roles. I'm sure someone's going to tell me in the comments some stuff that Davy Jones has done. Feel free to refresh my memory, guys. Yeah, I Want to Be Free. That was awesome. Davy doing the lead, and I kept thinking about the Brady Bunch episode, Marsha, when Davy Jones was there because Marsha had a big crush on Davy Jones, and he showed up in that episode. That was awesome. Later, in 1993, I got to interview Davy Jones on the phone when he played in Peoria at the fair, and you can find that on my other channel, The Church of Rock, all one word. The complete and unedited interview for my old fanzine. That's pretty cool. And we talk about him and his little thing with Maureen McCormick. He actually took her on a real date one time, he thinks. Haha. But he didn't want to kiss and tell, so that's pretty cool. I Want to Be Free, Pleasant Valley Sunday. What a great Monkees tune, man, right? All you Monkees fans are singing it right now in your head. Another Pleasant Valley Sunday. Of course, Mickey had his tambourine out. Davy was super hyper. I'm making my little notes, remembering from the audio that I just heard. Like I say, Davy Jones gyrated a lot like Elvis. His legs just going and just back and forth. He's on one end of the crowd singing. Mickey's on the other. Come on, come on. You got Peter in the middle being kind of awkward and funny. You know, it was cool. The Monkees, man. Listen to the band. What a great tune by the Monkees. And then, of course, they did end their set, which was about an hour long, a little under an hour by a couple minutes. They ended with I'm a Believer. Now, that song has been covered by so many people, including, I think, Smash Mouth. But yeah, the Monkees were really good live. They were funny. The guys all looked good and healthy. Davy Jones had long hair. Peter Tork looked like he did back in the 60s. And Mickey Dolenz looked really good. Nice and fit. Looked just like old Mickey Dolenz. And they definitely stuck to, keeping to the humor. And I got to say, rest in peace to Peter Tork, who departed this earth in 2009 at age 77. Also, Davy Jones departed this earth 2012 at the age of 66. And Michael Nesmith, famed producer and musician outside of the Monkees, died at the age of 78 in 2021. That leaves only one original Monkee to this day. That's Mickey Dolenz, who's still going, man. And boy, I've heard some legendary stories about Mickey Dolenz. He was quite the partier. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you liked my little tale about seeing the Monkees on their 20th anniversary tour. And I got some cool rock, metal, and punk tales coming, and a lot of curveballs and radio station stories and stories about my own rock and roll career, punk rock career, pun croc. Anyway, hey man, signing off on a Monday night? Yeah, Monday night. Catch you guys in the next day or two right here at Bloody F Mess Official. Thanks for listening, and long live Mickey Dolenz.